The United States government has just made a decision that could strand thousands of legal, permanent residents outside the country they call home. Yes, you heard that right. Green card holders, people who have built their lives, careers and families in America for years, even decades, are now facing the terrifying possibility of being blocked from returning to U.S. soil. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This isn't fear-mongering. This is happening right now. And if you or someone you know holds a green card, the next few minutes could change everything. You thought you knew about your rights in this country? Before we dive into the shocking details that the Department of Homeland Security doesn't want you to focus on, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because USA State brings you the news that directly impacts your life, your family, and your future. Drop a like on this video if you believe legal residents deserve transparency, and share this with anyone who needs to hear this critical information. Now let's expose what's really going on. The Department of Homeland Security has initiated a policy shift that's sending shockwaves through immigrant communities across America and beyond. Reports are flooding in from airports, consulates, and border checkpoints that green card holders are being stopped, questioned extensively, and in some cases prevented from boarding flights back to the United States. This development represents one of the most significant challenges to the rights of lawful, permanent residents in recent history, and the implications are absolutely staggering. Let's break down exactly what's happening. Green card holders have always enjoyed a protected status in the United States. Unlike visa holders or temporary visitors, lawful permanent residents have the legal right to live and work in America. Indefinitely, they pay taxes. They contribute to Social Security. They serve in our military. They own businesses and homes. They're raising American children. For all intents and purposes, they are Americans in everything but citizenship status. But now that fundamental security is being threatened in ways that seemed unimaginable just weeks ago, according to multiple verified reports from immigration attorneys and advocacy organizations, the Department of Homeland Security has been implementing what they're calling enhanced screening procedures for certain categories of green card holders attempting to return to the United States. These procedures go far beyond the standard questioning that travelers typically face at ports of entry. We're talking about interrogations lasting several hours, demands for access to personal electronic devices, detailed questioning about religious beliefs and political affiliations, and in the most extreme cases, outright denial of entry. Despite holding valid permanent resident documentation, the legal framework here is incredibly complex, and that's exactly what makes this situation so dangerous for affected individuals. While green card holders do have substantial rights, under U.S. immigration law, those rights are not absolute, particularly when someone is physically outside the United States. Attempting to return, the Supreme Court has historically given the government broad authority to control who enters the country, even when those individuals have previously established legal residence. This creates a gray zone where lawful, permanent residents can find themselves in a bureaucratic nightmare, stuck in legal limbo between their adopted country and wherever they happen to be traveling. What makes this situation even more concerning is the apparent lack of clear criteria for who gets subjected to these enhanced procedures. Immigration lawyers across the country are reporting that their clients are being selected seemingly at random, with no transparent explanation for why. One green card holder passes through smoothly, while another faces hours of interrogation and potential exclusion. Some patterns have emerged, though, and they're deeply troubling. Individuals from certain countries are disproportionately affected. Those who have traveled to specific regions in the past several years face heightened scrutiny. Even the length of time someone has spent outside the United States on a single trip appears to be triggering additional security measures. The human impact of these policies cannot be overstated. Picture this scenario: you're a green card holder who has lived in the United States for 15 years. You've built a successful career. Your children were born here and are U.S. citizens. You own a home with a mortgage. You pay your taxes every year without fail. You've never had so much as a parking ticket. Then your parent falls seriously ill in your country of origin, and you travel back to be with them. During their final days after the funeral, you attempt to return home to your family, your job, your life. But at the airport, you're pulled aside. Your documents are scrutinized. You're questioned about where you went, who you met with, what you discussed. Hours pass eventually. You're told you cannot board your flight, no clear explanation, no timeline for when you might be allowed to return. Your American children are without a parent. Your employer is without an employee. Your mortgage payment is due. Your entire life is in the United States. But you're being treated like a threat to national security. This isn't a hypothetical situation. This is happening to real people right now. Immigration advocacy organizations have documented dozens of cases fitting this exact pattern in just the past few weeks. The emotional toll on families is devastating. The financial consequences can be catastrophic. Jobs are lost, homes go into foreclosure. Children are separated from parents. And through it all, the affected individuals often have no meaningful recourse because the decisions are being made by officials with extremely broad discretionary authority. The Department of Homeland Security has released limited public statements about these enhanced procedures, typically framing them as necessary security measures designed to protect the American people from potential threats. They emphasize that the vast majority of green card holders continue to travel without incident, and that only a small fraction face additional screening. But that explanation provides little comfort to those caught in the system or to the millions of lawful permanent residents who are now terrified to leave the country even for essential travel. Legal experts are divided on both the legality and the wisdom of these policies. Some argue that the government has clear statutory authority to implement enhanced vetting procedures for any non-citizen attempting to enter the United States, including lawful permanent residents. They point to provisions in immigration law that allow for exclusion based on security concerns, criminal history, or even extended absences from the country. Others contend that these procedures violate the due process rights of green card holders and represent a dangerous expansion of executive power that could be challenged in federal court. Several civil rights organizations have already announced their intention to file lawsuits challenging these policies. They argue that the procedures are being implemented in a discriminatory manner, disproportionately targeting individuals based on national origin, ethnicity, and religion, in violation of constitutional protections. These legal challenges could take years to resolve, leaving affected individuals in continued uncertainty about their status and their ability to travel. The broader implications of this policy shift extend far beyond the individuals directly affected. The United States has long marketed itself as a nation that welcomes immigrants and provides a clear path to permanent residency. For those who follow the rules and contribute to society, millions of people around the world aspire to obtain American green cards precisely because of the security and stability that permanent resident status traditionally provides. But if that status can be functionally revoked without warning or clear justification, it fundamentally undermines the entire immigration system and the promises the United States makes to those who choose to build their lives here legally. There are also significant economic consequences to consider. Green card holders are disproportionately represented among entrepreneurs, medical professionals, scientific researchers, and other highly skilled workers who drive innovation and economic growth. If these individuals begin to fear that leaving the country for business travel, academic conferences, or family obligations could result in being unable to return, they may either curtail those activities or consider relocating to countries that offer more security and predictability. Either outcome would represent a brain drain that could harm American competitiveness in crucial sectors. The political dimensions of this issue are equally complex. Immigration policy has become one of the most polarizing topics in American politics, with passionate advocates on all sides claiming to represent the true interests of the nation. Some political figures have applauded these enhanced screening measures as a necessary step to ensure national security. In an increasingly dangerous world, others have condemned them as discriminatory, counterproductive, and fundamentally un-American. Finding common ground on immigration issues has proven nearly impossible in recent years, and this latest controversy is unlikely to break that pattern. For those currently holding green cards or considering applying for permanent residency, this situation demands immediate attention and careful planning. Immigration attorneys are advising their clients to maintain meticulous records of all travel, to avoid extended trips outside the United States, whenever possible to carry comprehensive documentation, proving their ties to America and to Be prepared for the possibility of enhanced screening. At ports of entry, some are even recommending that green card holders accelerate their timelines for applying for citizenship, which would provide greater protection against these types of policies. The coming weeks and months will be critical in determining how this situation evolves. Will the Department of Homeland Security clarify its procedures and provide more transparent criteria for enhanced screening? Will legal challenges succeed in limiting or overturning these policies? Will Congress intervene with new legislation to protect the rights of lawful, permanent residents, or will this become the new normal, fundamentally changing what it means to hold a green card in the United States? What's absolutely certain is that this story is far from over, and the stakes couldn't be higher for millions of people who have chosen to make America their home through legal channels.